Prelude means an introduction, and therefore that is why I felt like it was the perfect thing to name this first piece, this first project, because this is the introduction to me sonically as an individual, as a solo artist. And this is definitely something that I've been developing over the course of these last 4 years and getting to know myself and shedding the layers of myself that weren't resonant anymore or never really did resonate, that I just kind of took on as a layer subconsciously and didn't even realize that I had. I ended up doing it through an independent route, using, AWOL as a distributor and through my own label, Attunement Records. And I'm actually really proud of that because, it was essentially where I had to go in order to deliver the creative vision that I had envisioned for this project. At the end of the day, there were perceptions being projected onto me of who I was supposed to be as an artist. And this was the way that I found that I was able to be the most free. Hi, MTV News. I'm Lauren Jauregui, and these are my top 5 musical influences. So my first musical influence, I would say, is HAYLEY Williams from Paramore. I would say Paramore in general, because the band really was what raised me. But yeah, HAYLEY's intention in her lyrics and the musicality of Paramore, I love their drums and their guitar licks and all of the things. To this day, if Paramore comes on in my shuffle, I will listen to the whole album back to back. I know their entire discography front to back. I love them so much. Their songs really helped me grow up during that part of my life as a teenager, My next musical influence, I would say, is Beyonce. She's so many things. She's an enigma, truly. I think that she's an incredible performer. I think that her attention to detail is spectacular in all aspects of her career, from visuals to sonics. I'm really inspired by how she does backgrounds and her ad-libs and that kind of approach, just to the creativity and just the colorful nature of what's happening in the background. And the way that she just gives her soul when she performs something. I can hear her soul when she's singing. I can hear her communicating the feelings of what she's talking about. So yeah, I think Beyonce is a huge one in my influences. So the third influence I would say is John Mayer. I know his whole discography front to back as well, especially Continuum. Continuum as a piece was just a flawless piece of work to me. I love the way that he expresses himself lyrically. I think that you get really deep into who he is as a person and what he thinks about life. I love songwriters. I love people who bear their little hearts in their writing. And the next musical influence I would say is ERYKAH BADU. ERYKAH is cool as and lyrically, she's just so genuine and real. And I love how involved she is in her production process. I love how her ear is insane and the way that she curates musicians and the way that she is so unique in everything that she does and her style and her approach to things. She's just out of the box bruja energy, and I love it. But I have so many more. I like Christina Aguilera, Alicia Keys, Stevie Wonder, and Kendrick Lamar, okay? Those are my last 4, okay? Because it's just craftsmanship, right? So their dedication to their craft, their dedication to their lyrical process. Stevie is an OG, perfect 10 when it comes to sonics and lyrics and all of the above. He's just it. Songs in the Key of Life is one of the best albums of all time. Yeah, and Kendrick, he did this interview that changed my life. Just listening to him talk about how intimately he's a part of the production process and the mixing process and how every sound is important to the whole piece and how his cadence and even the tone of voice that he uses is intentional, to convey what he's trying to say lyrically. Lyrically, I mean, the man has a Pulitzer Prize, you know what I'm saying? He's an insane writer and captures just so many concepts so beautifully. And then Christina Aguilera influenced me a lot as a kid, I think tone-wise and I think approach-wise. She's just very flamboyantly diva, and I love that about her. She's gonna give you runs for days, whether you want them or not, and I love it. But Alicia Keys, I auditioned with Alicia's song, If I Ain't Got You, for X Factor. And my connection to that song and my connection to her in general, weirdly enough, I had a songwriting session with her and was able to write with her and I was able to see her process. And seeing her in her imperfection, finding her voice in the song, like from top to bottom, like watching the songwriting process was so inspiring for me at that time in my life, because I was so attached to needing to prove that I was a good songwriter and that I was good at what I loved, that I wouldn't allow myself to make mistakes. And so I was trying to prevent myself from feeling stupid by not throwing out a melody, or like, you know, I want to only participate if I have a really good melody or if I have a really good line, you know? And watching her work in that imperfection and like finding those things through the process of trial and error just really opened my heart up to that creative process. It's like, it's messy sometimes, it's not going to always be perfect. And that is like the ethos of creation, is that in the chaos and in the failure is when you can actually grow and get better at your craft. Her songwriting and her dedication to being imperfectly perfect, you know, I love that about her. You know what I'm realizing now as I come out of this first release is like hyper independence is a trauma response. I'm learning to kind of relax a little more into the collaborative process, but I do have some incredible collaborators that kind of, I think, understood that I was in need of that voice this time around. Outside of proving it to other people, to prove to myself that I was the artist that I had always believed I was, even before being put in a group and even before having experienced Fifth Harmony. I had a vision for who I was as an artist that got really quieted over the course of that. And really, I just kind of disconnected really deeply from her for a long time. I didn't write any music while I was in the group. I was very just disconnected from my creative self. And so this project and this music, and music in general for me, was just a realignment with self. And so I had to be hyper independent about it. I hope that people just feel seen and resonate with the music. I hope that they feel like I'm speaking to them directly and like I'm talking about their life when I'm singing.